Hi, this video is going to be quite complex because I am attempting to convey or communicate a powerful message. This is of course related to my recent actual play yesterday. I played with Rick and Tyler. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. It's going to be in the front of my channel. You will find it in my actual plays section in the description of this video. It's the Infinity's Edge campaign. Let's start with me saying that I have realized that I always feel great admiration for all of my players at the table. But I wanted to define this. I was thinking why. That is, as I was running the session yesterday, I kept on admiring Rick and Tyler. And I was thinking, why do I admire my players so much? Why? This is not like a sappy video. I really wanted to understand why. And I started to think and think and think. And I think I understand why. But first, let's talk about a bit of the session. It's perhaps one of the most unique sessions that I have run because it's my first time running that sort of virtual reality MMORPG sort of campaign with all of those pop-up windows, with Rick and Tyler checking the log windows, getting messages from the system itself, all of that related to the artificial intelligence. It is still a game. And a game in a beta test stage. So it's perhaps the most unique tabletop RPG experience that I've had. Not because it's the greatest session or something, it's because it is so different from the other sessions. And just take a look at everything that they did. Tyler with his martial arts moves, his ideas on improvising, using his own metallic body to... This is going to contain spoilers, of course, for the session. Using his metallic body as an ironborn to protect the wounded dwarf. Rick coming up with those solutions of, hey, let's disguise ourselves as trees in order to trick the Sturges. And looking around, trying to see some way of creating a bridge between the rapids. So much creativity. There were many shortcuts applied. In the case of Rick, hey, we can't go down vertically or it's too risky. Let's take another route. Like I said, disguising ourselves as trees. Or in the case of Tyler, he didn't wait for the Sturges to take this dwarf's body very far away, perhaps to a more dangerous section. He decided to shoot an arrow. Of course, the body was somewhat damaged as he fell on those trees. Thankfully, the other dwarves did not see that. But that way you stop the Sturges from taking the encounter into more difficult directions. And Infinity's Edge is a very crunchy system, but because Rick and Tyler were role-playing all the time, it flows so smoothly. You don't need great mastery over the system. You don't need to be... you don't need to be an expert, a master at the system that you are running. As long as you roleplay, things will start to come into place. Now, moving on from that, here is what I thought about concerning my admiration for roleplayers at my table. True roleplayers, actual roleplayers, have three things in common. They are confident, they are consistent, and they are considerate. And this consideration is not some woke nonsense of, oh, you must be considered, you must be thoughtful, or consider other people's feels because they may cry. No. This is something else. I will talk about that in a few moments. Let's start with confident. A true role player is confident in his roleplay. He doesn't care about appearances. He or she doesn't care about appearances. They are not trying to uphold some sort of image. Oh, I need people to see that I am the perfect role player. No. You know what? Perfection will never be truly achieved. You can strive towards perfection, but there is no perfection in form. There is always going to be someone better than you. This happens in any profession, any activity, any trade. Do not wait for perfection in order for you to do something. Just do it. See what happens. Deal with the results. That's what being confident is all about. Take a look at the actual place, my actual place. My players, many of them, have never roleplayed. Never before. And not only did they roleplay, they roleplayed in front of others, in front of who knows how many people. Right now, some of my older actual plays already have like who knows how many 100 views. All of those people, or perhaps there are people that watch the session various times, regardless, all of those views represent various people, or perhaps a single person watching the video several times that were fascinated, found that interesting, was able to appreciate the mistakes. Now, later on, Rick is going to... I tagged Rick in the description because this concerns his gameplay in the Infinity's Edge campaign. Later on today, I don't know the exact time, Rick is going to run his Castles and Crusades campaign. I criticized that first session quite a lot in a previous video. I hope Rick will apply what I would consider corrections. But there was something that Rick said. He preferred to have a pre-recorded session, just like me. I actually do it because my computer is pretty potato and I cannot handle live streams. In some cases, in some conversations, you know, like the typical panel setup, I would have liked it to have like a live stream, to have some people asking questions in the comment section, in the chat. But my computer almost gets a heart attack. It stutters so much every time I try to set up that. So Rick decided to pre-record his session. I think that's great, Rick. I told him I think it was in the panel where we had the live stream with Rick and Crispy and Tyler. I told him that's perfect, Rick, because your channel is not like a huge channel that is going to have like many viewers in chat. So that's perfect. However, I would advise against editing or modifying the pre-recorded session. I have never modified my pre-recorded sessions. You can see the error. Sometimes people get disconnected and they rescue the situation, the players, through roleplay. Sometimes one of us gets busy. Somebody knocks at the door or whatever, and they turn off their camera and they take care of business and they come back. And roleplay continues. The session keeps on going. Sometimes there are rough cuts. When I stop recording, sometimes the video gets a bit choppy at the end. But all of that represents the errors, the trials and tribulations that anyone goes through when you want to enjoy tabletop RPGs online. So Rick, I would recommend that do not edit that. The thing that puts apart our sessions from the fake roleplay sessions, I am talking about those Wizards of the Coast or Chaosium fake actual plays where they have their script, their cuts, the Red Moon sessions where they have their script. They are everything is so perfect. Perfect diction, no errors, perfect pronunciation. It is all staged. Real actual sessions, real sessions with actual roleplay. You're going to have people that stutter. You're going to have people that, in my case, sometimes I think I should have used this other word instead of that other word. It is more descriptive. Or I'm repeating this other word. I could have said this other word instead of that word in the description. Things would be more colorful. The image would be presented in a more precise way. We are not perfect. Perfection will never be achieved. Even if you admire someone and you say, oh, his roleplay is so perfect, take it in the sense of like an expression of love, of friendship. Perfection will never be accomplished. So role players are quite confident. They roleplay and that's it. They do not care about anything else. In a fight, in a physical confrontation, you are not thinking about the outcome. You are not thinking about if you're going to be defeated. You just fight. You fight to win. But you don't think about, oh, you need to fight perfectly. You fight to win. Whatever means necessary. You roleplay for the sake of roleplay, for immersion. You are not trying to keep an image. Oh, I am perfect, so people shouldn't see me role-playing. So many people in my actual plays have told me, thank you for showing us actual roleplay. Thank you for this. Oh, that looks great. I enjoyed the session. I want to play. Some of my players have actually gotten into my games because they felt encouraged after watching my imperfect actual plays. And you don't need to care about whatever people say about you. If it's fair criticism, take it into consideration. Yes, that's true. I went out of character in that moment. That is correct. I could have said this in order to frame it better. That's constructive criticism. But if nerds or losers talk smack about you, why would you care? They don't roleplay. They don't know how to roleplay. Why should you care? Are they going to hurt your little feelings? No. Who are you? Who the fuck are you? You're a role player. You shouldn't care about that. Now, second characteristic of role players, consistent. They unify roleplay with game. They do not separate it. Oh, I'm going to practice the game aspect of roleplay. No, I'm going to practice the roleplay and put the game aside. Role-playing game. Role-playing game. You do not separate the hobby. Right now, I could teach anyone how to roleplay immediately. Describe your actions. I present a situation to you. You describe your actions. Based on using dice or not, something will happen. And so on it goes. Now you have roleplay and you have a game. Perfect. The game, the win condition, be successful in your action. You failed? Tough luck. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Attempt some other thing. Unless your character has died and you need to start over, attempt some other thing. Or attempt the same task differently. It's so easy. When it comes to this consistency, you must keep on role-playing. Do not have hiatus moments. Keep on role-playing. The key to my imperfect success lies in me continuing searching for that roleplay. When I saw the perfect example, in fact, the perfect example of a role player, that game master in Texas, or rather dungeon master, running Forgotten Realms in front of everyone in a game store. And I was like, oh, no, what do you do? No, always in character, describing their actions. Consistent roleplay. And just because of that example, brilliant example, my quest began, my struggle to understand roleplay. I started to think, if I don't say what do you do, so I just like say it, and I wait for the players, what? And then I thought, the game keeps on, the world of the game keeps on moving. If they don't take action, the world will take action for them. Something will happen. There are non-player characters. There are hazards, magical effects, weather conditions. I have a video, if you haven't seen it, it's going to be in the description. The only video here in YouTube that tells you how to obtain details through roleplay. So many people ignore that. They usually have like this pet non-player character and they use him to answer questions. It's the same thing. It's the players using that non-player character to talk with the game master. Every single detail can be obtained through roleplay. You can obtain valuable information by speaking with non-player characters, but everything else, the colors, the textures, what is written over there, I look at the tablet and read its inscription. I pick up the object and examine it, paying close attention to its colors and the mysterious sigils on top. I look at the banner to appreciate its emblem. I look at the blah blah blah, I take this and that, I do this and that, I think back to I try to recall if I attempt everything through roleplay, in character. Consistency. True roleplayers are consistent. Keep on roleplaying. If you can't find a group, roleplay solo. If you are encouraged, and I encourage you to play actual plays online, there are so many people out there that want to play the sessions that you want to play. There are few role players, but they exist. My channel is not that big, and just by interest gauge video, I am looking for players for this and that. I always found someone interested in playing. There is no excuse for you to stop role playing. Funny enough, these people, they repeat these patterns. When I was young, I was a bodybuilder and a martial artist, but now look at me, I have man boobs and chronic health problems. Why would you stop your training, martial artist? If you are a true, worthy human being, why did you let yourself go? You see? Now, this is not about perfection in fitness. This is about striving towards perfection in roleplay. Again, there is no perfection. Even in the physical sense, there is always a way for you to improve. And we do not present ourselves, our activities, in order to show our perfection. We show our quest towards the perfection. Perfection will never be accomplished. Consistency. Keep on role-playing. There is no excuse. Again, this can be seen. Those people, they stop practicing doing this or that are healthy activities. It's all about consistency. Constancy, you could say. The other C. Considerate. Role players are always considerate about everyone else at the table in the roleplay sense, not in the wokester, mental infirm term of someone that has mental problems, mental issues, and they are afraid of the imaginary goblin stabbing their character and dying in an imaginary setting. And this is not about those mentally sick people. They need professional help. They need therapy. They have a sickness. They need to find a way to cure it. This is all science fiction. Just in case YouTube gets stingy, this is all science fiction. Okay. When it comes to being considerate at the table, true role players are always thinking about the other players and the game master. Am I describing my actions adequately? Am I doing something that disrupts the roleplay and shatters the immersion? Am I laughing like an idiot? I am not talking about those humorous, authentic humorous moments like in comedy role-playing games or even in more serious RPGs that you cannot hold back the laugh because something actually funny happened. Even if you laugh, you try to hold it back. You try to hold it back. You don't want to disturb the immersion, and you will see that the more you have consideration, appreciation for others at the table, the more intense those feelings get. Try to hold back your laughter, and the laughter becomes even more enjoyable and more difficult to control. You could actually burst in laughter. You tried your best, but because you were considerate about not disrupting the session, now you even enjoy yourself even more. You don't do stupid jokes at the table. If you want to make some stupid jokes, do it in character, if that's part of your character's personality. You think about, is the game master able to hear me clearly? Am I speaking clearly into the microphone? In the case of actual plays, in the case of a physical table, am I speaking correctly or am I... What? In the case of the game master, describe your scenes appropriately with not too much exposition, but with enough detail. Encourage others to participate through the game world. Have the non-player characters interact with the different players. If you are focusing on different scenes, if the party split up and you have characters doing this, characters doing that, do not focus the attention too much on a single character or a subgroup of characters. Let them have their moment and immediately move towards the other character or the other subgroup. Back and forth. And they all understand this. The game master and the players, they want everyone to achieve roleplay, to produce that immersion, to live the adventure. Not just, oh, I kind of played a module. No, you actually were existing in the Forgotten Realms, in the 1920s of H.P. Lovecraft. Anything that you want to play. In every single tabletop RPG session in which you actually roleplay, you will get to say, I was there. We did this. We actually did it. We became immersed. We were the characters. We were not telling a story about the characters. We were not acting. We were not having a conversation about the game. No, you were there in the now, in the present. And just before we finish this video, we wrap it up. Remember, Rick, everything that you think about your sessions that could have gone better, you are the game master. It is in your control. If the players, I will, you were thinking about the future and you missed your turn. You hesitated too much. You will achieve immersion, Rick. Thank you for watching this video. And thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character. It's permissible for you to fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.